Hi guys, hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Shells, and if you love all things sewing and fashion, then you are in the right place. Ooh, la, la, la. Ooh, la, la. This is my third YouTube video now, and I was very conscious of the fact when sitting down here that I've been doing a lot of talking so far and not much sewing. And if any of you are wondering when are we getting to the sewing, because I'm sure if you've subscribed, that's what you've subscribed for. It is coming, but in today's video I wanted to share with you a few of my sewing goals and plans for 2024, just so you can get an idea of what's to come on the channel and my other social media platforms during the course of 2024. So the sewing is coming. Today I'm going to share with you a few of my goals and plans. I didn't really have a plan last year. My only aim was to sew intentionally, and I was able to achieve that. And through sewing intentionally, I created some really cool pieces that I now have to add to my wardrobe. They do say failing to plan is planning to fail, so I feel like going in with a plan this year will be a good idea, and it will just give me a sense of focus and direction and help me from getting swayed here and there by new pattern releases, and just stay focused and stick to the plan. Although I say stick to the plan, nothing is set in stone and things are subject to change. I've thought about things that I need rather than things I want when coming up with my plans. So I'll go through my goals first, and then we can go through the plans, because that's the exciting part. Well, at least I feel that's the more exciting part. So yeah, I'm not gonna yap on too much. Let's get straight into the goals. And my first one is to finish off any unfinished makes from 2023. In my last video where I was reviewing everything I made last year, I noticed that there were a few buttons and hems that are unfinished, and because I plan on wearing everything that I've made at some point, I kind of want to just have them ready to go, so when I do decide to wear them, I don't have to be fussing last minute trying to fix a hem or sew a button on. So first goal for 2024 is to finish off any unfinished projects from last year. The next goal I've set myself is to sew some accessories. I want to expand my sewing this year to include accessories, and I feel like including accessories in my sewing plans this year will also help me to expand my sewing skills. And I'm always looking to challenge myself and learn new things. I actually need to invest in accessories, so I think it would be really cool to start making some of my own. And I've actually been able to tick this goal off my list already, because my first make of this year was this Vicky Sews Sora bag. I made it in this Teddy Sherpa. It was just giving me cozy winter vibes, but I really look forward to making this bag again in leather, as I just feel like that's more practical for my lifestyle. And there's other bags that I would like to sew, and I will get to that in the plans section of this video. So yeah, 2024, we're getting into bags. I want to sew some accessories this year. I have sewn a bucket hat before, but I really want to get into bags particularly this year. So that's goal number 2. Moving on to the third goal I've set myself, it's to focus more on fit. I really feel like fit plays an important part into how good your clothes look on you. And I feel like no matter how much you spend on a piece of clothing, or no matter how many hours you spend sewing a piece of clothing, if it doesn't fit you well, you're not going to look your best in it. I took my measurements at the start of the year, and I was sewing patterns according to those same measurements during the whole of 2023. But I actually lost some weight during the course of the year, because I was going to the gym quite a lot and I changed my eating habits, and I lost weight, which I was really happy about. But what I didn't do was adjust the pattern sizes to my new weight, and I feel like had I adjusted the patterns I was sewing to my new measurements, they would have fit me that much better. Nothing looks particularly bad, but to me, when something fits you well, it just makes you feel good. I'm sure we can all relate to that one pair of jeans or 2 pairs of jeans that we have that are our favorite, and that is because they fit us so well, and when we've got them on, you know, we just makes us feel really nice. Moving on from focusing on fit, the next thing I would like to try and achieve this year is to sew more of my fabric stash. I've accumulated so much fabric over the years, and I actually buy fabric faster than I can sew it. And I'm sure it's a problem that many other sewists have as well, it's not just me. But this year I really want to sort of have a look at what my sewing plans are and see what I have in my fabric stash that could be used in those plans. And staying on the topic of fabric, I really want to learn more about fabrics this year. I know enough to get by, like I know, you know, what fabrics are good for certain projects, but I want to know a bit more. And I feel like having a better knowledge of fabrics will help me to communicate better when I'm creating content, and it will also help me to identify the many fabrics I have in my stash and I'm not sure what they are. I probably knew at the time what it was, because I always make it my point of duty, if I'm not sure what it is, to ask the sales assistant in the shop. But I've got so much fabrics from, you know, years ago, and I probably won't remember what it is. But I feel like if I have that knowledge of fabrics, then I'll be able to identify them just by looking at them and feeling them for myself. So I really want to level up my fabric knowledge this year. The next thing I'd like to focus on this year, or try and achieve, is to hack more patterns. I hacked a pattern last year, and that was a really cool challenge that I set for myself. I took something that wasn't really my style at first glance, but made it into something that was my style. And I feel like I would like to do more of that this year. I tend to follow instructions from start to finish. And I want to just try and let my creativity run a bit more free this year, than just making things a bit more unique to me, or just adding my own spin on things. Yeah, just injecting a bit more of shells into the patterns that I'm making this year. And again, keeping on the topic of patterns, another goal I would like to try and achieve is to draft a pattern from scratch. My mum has been going on at me for years about drafting patterns, and she makes it sound like it's something that's really easy to do. I know pattern drafting involves a lot of maths and that's why it's kind of, you know, been a bit intimidating for me. And I'm sure once I start trying, as with most things, the more you try, the more you learn, the easier it becomes. It's just getting over that hurdle of getting stuck into it. So not quite sure what type of pattern I would like to draft. I just know I want to draft a pattern this year from scratch. Next goal is I have an embroidery machine. I really want to start using it this year. I've had it for over 5 years and I'm not using it to its full capacity. At the time when I brought the embroidery machine, it's a Brother PR 600. And at the time of buying it, it actually cost more than the car I was driving. And we thank God for growth, because it doesn't cost more than the car that I'm driving today. But I initially brought it because I started a customization business, and I'm no longer running that customization business today, but that's a story time for another day. But the machine's just sat here collecting dust, and I really want to start putting it to use. So I want to try and find some projects that I can incorporate, or that I can use the machine for. And I have a bit of an idea in mind, which I'll also talk about in the next section in the plans, when we talk about the plans. But yeah, I really want to start using my embroidery machine this year and see what I can create with that. So I'm really looking forward to that. The next thing I want to do, I think is the final goal actually. I don't want to go too overboard. I think that's probably about what, 7, 8 goals now. But the next thing I want to do is just to continue building my intentional wardrobe, and sewing intentionally. That's what I really want to do. It was a game changer for me last year. I feel it's going to benefit me to keep sewing intentionally this year. So that's what I'm going to do. And my goal, guys, isn't to have a fully me-made wardrobe. I really love sewing, and I also really love shopping. So my goal is really just to have a wardrobe that reflects my style, is fun, functional. Having a functional wardrobe is very important to me. fashionable, and yeah, I just want a nice mixture of me made and ready to wear clothes in my wardrobe that serve me well through season to season, and that bring me joy. I just want to have a wardrobe that makes me happy and proud and that reflects my style. So that's my goals for 2024. And now we can get into the plans, the fun part. One of the things I would like, well, I'll just go through the things that I have in mind already, some of the sewing plans that I have in mind already. We've spoken about bags. I really want to get into bags. Another bag that I would like to sew is by a sewist on Instagram called Thalia's Threads. She created a pattern for a bag called the Mag Bag. Bag is so cool. When I seen her with that bag on Instagram, I immediately knew I was going to get it when she released the pattern. I've had that pattern since last year, just didn't have the time to get around to sewing it. Also, I was just looking online today and Vicky Sews have released a course for bag sewing. They have 4 bags and currently the course is $35. It's usually $70, but if you sign up, you'll get it for $35. You get 4 bags, access to the tutorials, lifetime access to the tutorials. Guys, I can't pass up on that offer. And the bags are in true Vicky Sews style. The bags are proper. One of the next things I have on my sewing plans list is a puffer jacket. And I'm actually in the process of making that now. And last year, if you watch my last video, then you'll know what I'm talking about. But last year I made a trench coat and it was made from some rugs from IKEA. And I called it a homeware to streetwear. When I posted it on Instagram, I labeled it homeware to streetwear. And I feel like I want to carry on my homeware to streetwear tradition this year. And I seen Know Me Patterns, is Norris Danterford for Know Me Patterns. He released a puffer jacket pattern and I knew immediately that I wanted to make a puffer jacket, or this particular puffer jacket, and make it a homeware to streetwear project. So all I'm doing is taking, something that you would usually find in the home or the homeware department and homeware stores and making some streetwear out of it. It's actually up on my my board behind me, but rather than taking it down, I'm just going to pop a picture of it here. So that's what I'm currently in the process of sewing up now. So it's currently winter here in the UK. It's cold here almost throughout the whole of the year. I think everybody needs a puffer jacket if they live somewhere as cold as the UK. So yeah, puffer jacket is on my list and currently in progress. A homeware to streetwear project coming soon. Don't think I'll share it here on YouTube, but it will definitely be over on my Instagram. So keep an eye out for that. And if you're not following me on Instagram, please head over and give me a follow. You won't be disappointed. The next thing I have on my sewing plans is a jumpsuit. And funnily enough, this jumpsuit is by Mimi G. And Mimi G, not only is she an OG in this sewing game and someone who I learned so much from over the years. My mum put me onto Mimi G when I first started sewing and I used to watch all her tutorials and I brought so many of her patterns. She's just an inspiration. But Mimi G is a pattern designer and sewist, and she's also Norris's wife. So they're a cool couple. I just love that they're so cool, they're so creative, and she's doing a lot for the sewing community as well. So I really love Mimi G, and she came out towards the end of last year with a jumpsuit pattern. I've been wanting to sew a jumpsuit for ages, but I've just never really found a pattern I felt would suit me. This pattern is definitely a bit of me, and I can't wait to sew it up. So yeah, the next pattern, puffer jacket, jumpsuit. The next thing that I had on my list was the mag bag. Moving on from the mag bag, what was the next thing I had, guys? Sorry, I have got some notes here on my iPad and I'm gonna have to refer to them because I've forgotten what the next thing is. pieces. I know that I'm starting off with winter essentials, so that's why we've got the puffer jacket, we've got the jumpsuit, we've got the bag. Ooh, the next thing, I have it written here, it's a sexy dress. It's actually, I really want to sew the Vicky Sews Roxy dress. It's just a bit of me, guys, and I really want to sew that dress. You may be able to also see it on my board here. Just visually seeing things that I have in mind helps me to, again, stick to the plan. Another thing that I really want to sew this year is a suit, a blazer suit. I don't know whether I want it to be trousers or a skirt suit, but I want to sew a suit, and I will pop some inspo pictures up that I've been looking at. But yeah, a suit is in the plans. I also would like to sew some classics with a twist. This is inspiration I've been getting just from browsing on Instagram and on Pinterest, and I'll pop a few pictures up here. I wear quite a lot of basics, and I really love classics. I love timeless pieces, practical pieces, and I feel it would be cool to add some classic pieces to my wardrobe, like your white shirt and like, you know, your classic white t-shirt, but I want to add a twist to them. I would like to sew a leather jacket, and it's going to be a leather Moto style type jacket. I've sewn one in the past and it was a McCalls jacket, but there was a mistake I made when sewing that. So it's not quite perfect, and I want to sew another one. I'm not sure what color. I would like to sew it in a color, something leather, something color. That may be towards the end of the year though, when it starts to get a bit cooler again. And the next thing I would like to do, I said I wanted to use my embroidery machine a bit more. I really love statement t-shirts, and I want to try and create a mini collection of outfits with statement t-shirts so that I can sort of ease into using my embroidery machine a bit more. And just, yeah, I think it would be really cool. Maybe 4 t-shirts paired with whether it's jeans, trousers, skirts, I don't know, but I've not really fleshed this idea out fully. I would just like to make a mini collection of statement t-shirts, but create looks for them. So that's something I want to do. That's also more towards maybe the summer, or when I get round to it. I'll see how my plans work out, but I do want to create a mini collection. And one of the last things that I have planned, it's not the last thing I have planned for the year, but it's as far as I've gotten with my plans for the year so far. In summer, my baby brother is getting married, and I'm going to make my dress. I'm not a part of the wedding party, so I'm not a bridesmaid or anything, but I am going to be going, and I am really looking forward to making my own dress. And I was recently contacted by his wife-to-be, and she asked me if I would make her evening dress. And I was really honored that she would even put her trust in me to do this for her on such a special occasion, on her big day. But I'm really looking forward to making my dress and her dress. It's a summer wedding. I love summer weddings, and I also love that it will be, you could get more creative with what you're gonna wear when it's a summer wedding. So yeah, guys, I'm really looking forward to that one. That process I will definitely share here on YouTube. The fabric buy-in, the planning, the making, everything. I don't really do gowns in evening or occasion wear, as you guys know if you've been following me for a while. I more do street style stuff. But I have sewn a gown before. I sewed my daughter's prom dress using the Vicky Sews Ornella pattern, and I surprised myself with that make because I managed to sew that up in 2 days. And I think I did a pretty good job. And so it's going to be exciting to get back into doing something that I'm not so familiar with again. So that's my plan so far, guys. That's a bit of what you can expect from me for 2024. Let's see if I can crush these goals I've set myself, and let's see how cool these things I plan to make come out. Obviously, you guys will be coming along for the journey. I'll be sharing everything with you. If you don't see it here, you'll see it over on Instagram. So make sure you're following me on all socials, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. If you've made it this far in the video, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Ooh, la, 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 la.
Ooh la la la.